What's going on, YouTube? Today, we're going to be talking about something super important to me. And I'm sure it's a question that is asked a lot. And it's actually a pretty common question. And I wanted to cover it here on my YouTube channel because I've had a few people this last week that have asked me a simple question, okay? And the question is, what is the best gun for home defense? What would you say would be the best platform, right? So when you say gun, it could mean anything. It could mean rifle, shotgun, pistol, whatever it is. So I'm going to cover all the aspects and all the different elements that are needed inside a home. Okay, now people think that, you know, the higher firepower, the better it is, but they don't realize there's a couple different elements inside a house that you need to realize, and scenario-based type stuff that is very important. Now, if you live by yourself, okay, it changes things. If you live with a family, meaning kids, it changes things. And if you live with just you and your girlfriend or you and your wife, it changes things. Every single scenario is going to be a little bit different on what you can choose or what you can have, okay, or what would consider to be the best. And I want to give you guys some information that you may not know, or just some little tidbits of what makes it a little bit better. Also, who is this gun for, right? Is it for an experienced shooter, or is it for a beginner, maybe like your wife or your girlfriend that has never shot a gun before, or maybe has very, very little training? Okay, so the three main platforms that everyone always talks about are a pistol, all right, an AR-15, okay, and a shotgun. Those three main ones. I also brought a Draco, which shoots 7.62 instead of 2.23 or 5.56, which what an AR shoots. Okay. Then you have your pistol, which your pistol would be 9mm, 40, 45, most common, but you also have 380, 22, a whole bunch of other calibers. But the three most common calibers, 9mm, 40, 45. So here we go. Breaking down every scenario. So one thing I do want to break down things is accuracy. All right, this is one element right here, accuracy. How accurate can someone be with that platform? Penetration, how much firepower that platform has, right? Or that gun that you're shooting has. And the other one, the most important one would probably be scenario, right? Scenario meaning who's the person shooting it? Girl, guy, experienced, not experienced. Those three main things will determine pretty much what you can use. And then probably the last one is another element that's important, and it's going to be the ease of use for the platform. How difficult it's going to be for the person to use it, right? How complicated it is, because when trauma hits or when something's happening very, very, very fast, I've always lived by three simple things, okay? The three S's: simple, safe, and stupid, okay? Something that's very simple to use, something that can be maintained safe, I guess, or it's for the most part, it's pretty safe, meaning that it's not combustible, it's not gonna go off on you, and then stupid, right? That a stupid person can use it, right? So those are the different elements, okay? So let's cover, first thing I wanna do is covering a pistol, which is what the average person nowadays has. They don't have a rifle or a long gun, whatever you may see. Pistols, for the most part, is your basic home defense. What I wouldn't use for a home defense as a pistol would be like a subcompact, right? So a subcompact gun would be something that is a very small gun, even though it's, let's say, a 9mm, but it's not a full-size gun. The smaller the gun, the harder it is to shoot. So if you have a 9mm Glock 43 single stack compared to a Glock 17, okay, obviously, whatever the smaller gun, it's going to be a little bit tougher to shoot. The recoil is going to be a lot rougher. So anyone that is new to the shooting game or that has never shot a gun very often is going to have a hard time with it. So first of all, for a handgun, if you're going to go with a handgun, biggest recommendation is a full-size handgun. What do I recommend? That's going to be up to you on what you have trained with and what feels most comfortable in your hand. What do I choose? I usually choose Glock, okay? So for the house, I would have a Glock 17, okay, which is a full-size Glock, 9mm. I'm not a big fan of the 40 and the 45. The main reason I'm not a big fan of the 40 and 45. 40, the recoil on a 40 is just ridiculous, okay? And the 45, the amount of rounds that you have in a magazine is very minimal compared to what you can get a 9mm. So 9mm, you can get 17, 20 rounds per magazine. 45, you're talking about 12 to 14 max, okay? 40 caliber, it's going to be somewhere there in the middle, but the only thing is, it's just if you get a new shooter that shoots a 40 cal, they're just going to be anticipating the hell out of that gun, and they're not going to hit anything if something really happens, okay? I like a Glock. Main reason I like a Glock is because it's a point and shoot kind of gun. There's no safety on a Glock, all right? Same thing for the Canic, all right? I love the Canics as well. The subcompact Canic is like a Glock 19. If you were to have something for the house that you need for the house and for the carry, I would go with the Glock 19, which is right in the middle. Okay, and the Glock 17 and Glock 19 are pretty easy, almost very similar to shoot. Okay, and they carry almost the same amount of rounds, and they're both 9mm. So that's for the Glock. Now we have an AR-15, right? As you can see here, I got my rifle here. Doesn't have any optics on it or anything like that. This is just an old rifle that I have. Okay, it's been safe, clear, and empty. Every gun on here is safe, clear, and empty. Rifle. This is the issue with the rifle. Shooting 5.56 223, over penetration. Okay, if you have a family, or if you have someone in the house that is not in the same room that you are coming out of, that you know where that room is, or that you know that as long as that room is always to your back, then you don't want to go with an AR-15 because it will go through 2 walls, 3 walls. Okay. Now here in Florida, so you understand, here in Florida, the exterior walls on all the houses are all made of cinder block concrete. So this will go through 2 or 3 sheetrock walls, but it'll stop on concrete. Houses up north are not made of cinder block concrete. They're made of wood on the outside. So this will go through all the walls in your house, including the exterior wall that can go into another house. Okay, so that is something you have to take in consideration for, right? That is for your 223 5.56. Now, ease of use. A 223 is a lot easier than a pistol. Okay. The only factor of a 223 is taking the safety off. Okay, the safety on and off. If it's a beginner shooter, if it's a person who's already trained or whatever, then you're fine. But if a person has never shot a gun before or whatever it may be, or have very minimal use, they have to remember to take that safety off. Now, if you got an optic on here, is put the red dot on there and shoot. The accuracy level's a lot better. The ease of shoot is a lot better. The recoil is a lot better. So it is technically an easier platform to shoot than, I would say, a pistol. Okay. Now a lot of people are going to say, oh, put a red dot on a pistol. Yeah, but it's not the same. Okay. Red dot on a pistol takes training. You have to train with the red dot on a pistol and understand that it's a little bit different than shooting with a red dot on an AR platform. Okay. So ease of use, a little bit better than the pistol. Accuracy is better than the pistol, but over penetration is key. Now, if you live in the house by yourself and you live here in Florida, okay, and you know that, 90% of the rounds are going to be hitting a cinder block wall on the outside and it won't go through anything else, then do you really care if it goes through maybe 1 or 2 rooms? Not really, because there's nobody else in there. Okay. So then this would be a good option. Now let's talk about a 7.62 round, which a lot of you guys see me, the Draco. You got a 7.62 and AK-47. So a lot of people have AK-47s because they're not that expensive, $600-700, and you can get a massive round that has, it's a deadly round. Don't recommend it for the inside house at all, whatsoever. Super, super loud. Okay. Even though during a situation like that, you're going to get auditory exclusion, okay, because of your heightened senses, and your body's going to go through a whole bunch of different things. I don't recommend an AK-47 for inside the home. Too much firepower, right? And too loud. It's going to go through every single wall, and it's going to tear all your cinder block. On the inside of your cinder block is going to mess it all up as well. What's good about this is obviously like the AR, you have 30 rounds, unless you have a drum. If you have a drum, then you can hold up to 50 rounds in there. So that is always good, right? But I don't recommend an AK-47 for inside the home defense. Plus, it isn't that hard to make mistakes with an AK-47. Recoil is a lot rougher than an AR-15. Firepower is too much firepower. And then the same time, the person who's never used an AK-47, take the safety off, firepower, recoil, then it's going to be all over the place. It's just, I don't think it's an ideal gun. Now, the last one that a lot of people talk about is a shotgun, okay? Now, here we call the shotgun. Shotgun slug, per se, way too much over penetration. It's going to go through every single wall in the house. Even if you have a cinder block on the outside, it's going to make a really bad mess up of that cinder block. And if you don't have cinder block on the outside and you have wood, it's going to go through that wood. God knows where it's going to end up, right? But if you're shooting buckshot, birdshot, then it becomes a way better option, okay? Accuracy, it's really simple to hit something because you're talking about groups of 6 inches with buckshot, birdshot, right? At 5 to 7 yards. It's a little bit, it's more error there, right? So if you're not a great shooter and you just point and shoot, you can hit it. Now, at the same time, if you're talking about a female, okay, that has very little experience, now you're talking about safety, taking off the safety, okay, shooting it, the recoil of it, boom, when it hits her, it's going to maybe throw her off her feet. She's not going to have a great follow-up shot, so it's a one-shot deal, right? Especially if it's a pump action, because now she has to shoot, or this person with very little experience has to shoot the shotgun, goes off, throws them all back a little bit, then they have to pump it, and then reshoot again. It's a lot of moving parts there. Obviously, if you want to go with a shotgun, I would go with a semi-auto shotgun, okay? Wouldn't go with a pump action shotgun. And definitely keep it to either birdshot or buckshot, whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't go with a slug. Definitely wouldn't go with a slug. In regards to that, make it a little bit easier, right? So you don't have to worry about, pumping and all that type of stuff. But it's always better, obviously, something in your shoulder with an optic on it, put the red dot, squeeze the trigger, and you don't really have to aim. It's pretty much a point and shoot type of platform. So that's your shotgun, all right? Now, with that said, it's like, okay, so what's the best one? In reality, there is no best one. It's going to be what's best for you, what's best for what you've trained for, what you've trained this person to deal with. Because at the end of the day, training is what's going to save you, make you or break you. The best options, okay, obviously, depending on your scenario. If you have a handgun, if you have a family and you have a handgun, it's probably going to be your best option for the less penetration, right? Now, we talked about a handgun, and we said accuracy is going to be a little bit tougher. Recoil management is going to be a little bit tougher. Aiming is going to be a little bit tougher. So let's take that away. Why don't we go with the same type caliber, 9mm, and you have two options with that same 9mm. You can go to a rifle 9mm, okay, which comes at a 7.5 or 10-inch barrel, right? That takes 9mm rounds, okay? Like, for example, the Christensen Arms or the SIG, okay? Where they have options of where it's a rifle that looks like this, something that looks like this, smaller, it's not so long, but instead of carrying 5.56, it carries 9mm. Now with that, you have a 9mm magazine that's carrying 30 rounds. You have a drum that carries 50 rounds. Put a red dot on there, okay? So now the only thing they really have to worry about is just a safety. So if they get in the habit of taking the safety off, okay, putting the red dot wherever you want to shoot, and you're shooting 9mm, no recoil, it's like a toy gun, you've taken away some of the hard factors of a pistol, okay? Let's just say you don't have $1,000 or $800 to buy an actual AR, right? Or an AR platform 9mm. or like a sub gun or something like that, right? So what do? Boom, we got a perfect solution for you, a conversion kit. Okay, so you buy a micro conversion kit that costs you about $300. Okay, you have a Glock 17 or some form of pistol in your house. You put it into the micro conversion kit, put a red dot on it, and now you can put a drum in there. You can put a 30-round mag in there, and now you have a good home defense solution with easy to shoot, right? No safety, red dot, no recoil, and no overpenetration. All right, so in conclusion, I want to just go over everything one more time so you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. All right, so we have the pistol platform, okay, which is, remember, it's not great in accuracy for a new shooter. Overpenetration is very good, doesn't have overpenetration. Round count is pretty good, but it's not the best option if you're by yourself, right? So, and make sure you always have a full size pistol. I prefer 9mm. Okay, some guys will prefer 40, 45. We already spoke about why I don't like 40, 45. AR platform. You have your AR platform 5.56 or 223, which is fine if you live in Florida or you live in houses that are cinder block. Number one. Number two, if you're by yourself. Okay, so you don't have to worry about overpenetration. If you have a family, I don't recommend an AR. Okay, now we're talking about when I say AR 223, 5.56. Okay. Definitely not an AK-47. I explained to you why. Then we got the shotgun, okay? If you're going with a shotgun, buckshot, birdshot, whatever you want to call it, and I would recommend semi-auto instead of pump action. If it's a person who doesn't have very much experience, pump action is going to be rough, the safety is going to be rough, and then the recoil is going to be rough on them. So make it a little bit easier for them, okay? But a shotgun is definitely a good option if you have a family, if you have a significant other or someone that lives in the same house as you do, so you don't have to worry about overpenetration through the walls. Okay. Then we have what my final solution was to make things easier if you have the pistol and you don't have the money to get an AR, which was your micro conversion kit. If you have the money, then you go with a 9mm AR pistol. Okay. If you don't have the money, go with a conversion kit. Set a Glock aside, a Glock 17, have it in the conversion kit, and now you're talking about you have 30 round magazines or a drum 50-round magazine. You got an optic on there, no safety, 9mm, no overpenetration, easy to shoot, easy to use. Okay, then that would be my final answer in regards to that if you have a family, right? So the best actual home defense for family scenario type stuff, okay, I would definitely stick with the 9mm. All right. Now, whether you want to put it into a pistol or whether you want to get an AR pistol, 9mm, or a conversion kit, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. No family, no worry about overpenetration. Then your AR-15 5.56. Okay. Also, family, shotgun, no overpenetration. Wouldn't recommend pump action. Wouldn't recommend semi-automatic. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments or any questions, leave them so that I can go through them and answer anything you might, anything you bring up. Some of you may or may not agree with me. That's okay. That's what having these discussions are all about. This is what I think is the best basic home defense platforms or firearms, I would say, depending on obviously where you live. Okay. Pretty much that's it, guys. Subscribe, share. On to the next one.